This week we're going to be talking about ethics, goals, and we're going to do some socialising. Hi everybody, welcome to episode 6 of Peg TV. Great to have you back. We've got a fantastic show lined up for you today, talking about some, I've got to be honest, not some real specific property stuff, but a lot of the mindset and some of the other periphery things that are just as important that go to growing your business. Now, we've been fairly busy over the last few weeks. Really, I've been focusing my time on Phoenix Rentals, which is my lettings agency, and this is something that I think might be quite interesting actually, and it's been about growing the team. And if I'm honest, we've been really overstaffing the business, getting the team, a strong team in place, and growing that team and training them to set us up for growth. As that's the goal for this year is to start to go into a good growth phase. And we're going to talk about goal setting later on. So I think that's going to be really, really interesting. Sally, did you do any goal setting?
Every day.
There you
Keep the kids alive. Main goal.
Main goal, keep the kids alive. Fantastic, and that's what it's all about. And the whole reason we're in property is to actually give us that time to spend time with family or give us control and do what we want to do. So, got to have goals to do that. Anyway, what we're going to do is going to kick off the show with question number 1.
Okay, question from Tom Saunders. Hi Rob, I've enjoyed following your journey so far. Here's a question for you. Would you describe yourself as an ethical investor? If so, what are the corporate and social responsibilities of an ethical property investor?
Tom, great to hear from you. I've known Tom for a long time, haven't seen Tom for a while, ex-military colleague of mine. So great to hear from you, Tom, and glad you're enjoying watching the show. I think your question is really, really powerful, actually, and it's about the ethics and the corporate and social responsibility about being a property investor. Now, I'm not going to beat around the bush here. Generally, in the industry at the moment, investors, landlords, letting agents have got a pretty bad rep in the media. I think we are, without a doubt, a target for the current government, and therefore we are a target in the media. And everybody likes to portray the landlord and the investor and the letting agent as well, and the estate agent actually to some degree, as the bad side of the equation, bringing loads of money and delivering poor standard accommodation. And I think, if I'm honest, to some extent, as with any industry, you're always going to get those rogues who will be operating like that. And show me an industry where that doesn't actually happen. Now, in the communities that we work in, it's completely the opposite for that. And everybody that I work with in all of our businesses and all of the clients that we work with on a mentoring basis I help to instill that very strong sense of social responsibility. And everything that we do within Phoenix Rentals and my own property portfolio is done to that. Now, one of the important things when you're setting a business up is to have that purpose, that mission, and trying to achieve something in the world. So actually in Phoenix Rentals, our letting agency, our company mission is to personally increase the standard of accommodation in 1,000 units in the next 5 years. So that is our personal mission. So I think when you approach business from that point of view, actually you can really make a difference. And by making a difference, you heavily brand yourself, and you actually increase your own brand as a business in the industry, in the community. And actually it has this quite unexpected side effect of bringing you more business and making you more successful by coming from that point. Now, both myself and John in Property Education Group, we also have social enterprises. Ours is called Seed, CIC. It's a KIC, a community interest company. And the whole point of Seed is it takes local people and gives them opportunity to upskill themselves, to find jobs, if they want to start a business, if they just want to learn how to live a better life, become a better them. Seed does that, and it gives them that help and support. And we've actually coined the term the Wellbeing High Street. And I know Rossi G behind the camera, he's part of that Wellbeing High Street and helping bring, and that's in Ellesmere Port, Wellbeing High Street in Ellesmere Port, and bringing that whole community to a better level. So I would say you have to come from that point of responsibility, because you do have a lot of responsibility, and landlords and investors all have responsibility to do that. Now, of course, some break it, but the majority of people don't. And as ever, it's the few who ruin it for the many. So I think that's really really important thing to do, and you've got to really delve into your why, your ethical stance, and then use that to develop your mission, which is much bigger than making money. And money is just a side effect, if I'm honest. And I think that's true to everybody. That money is a byproduct. The more you focus on this, the more the money will flow to you anyway. So thanks for that question. I think that was went a little bit deep actually. We're only on episode 6 and we're going deep into the questions, so that's good. I mean, Ross, you're obviously part of the Wellbeing High Street.
I am, yes.
And what's your views on it?
I think it's brilliant. I've seen people who are on the dole actually come on a course, go through the Wellbeing High Street programme. At the end of it, they've learnt new skills, built in confidence, they've taken on a shop, and they're now part of the local business community.
Awesome. So there's some benefit happening now. Look, it's not an overnight process, of course. It's a long process and a hard process, because a lot of people give opportunity and often that's thrown back in your face. But when you come from that position of a why and responsibility and your deep purpose, you just carry on with it consistently. And I always say consistency, dedication, discipline, carry on with that mission. So Tom, awesome question. Be good to hook up with you at some point. Good, so what we're going to do is talk a little bit then about goal setting, and that takes us on to our personal development section. I don't know if Ross is going to have some crazy graphics to go on. I don't know, some like exploding stars or something like that as we, help expand our minds on the personal development session. And what I wanted to talk to you about this week is goal setting. Because again, a lot of people I work with haven't maybe thought about exactly where they're going. And if you don't know where you're going, how are you ever going to end up at that destination? So goal setting is really important. Now we can do this very, very quickly. What I do on a monthly basis, and I review my goals. Now in the business, I will always have 3 annual goals that I'm trying to hit. And they're sort of fairly big picture stuff. So I think you should have those 3 annual goals in your business. Now, what I then do is break that down into quarterly priorities, and I only look at the next quarter. So at the moment we're in quarter 2 of 2016. So I'll break that down into quarterly priorities that I'm trying to achieve there. Now, I won't set a number on it. It could be 2, 3, 4. Generally 3 seems to work about right, the triad. Everything good happens in 3s. And then with those quarterly priorities, I break it down into SMART objectives. So SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bounded. So rather than just saying I'm going to go out and make £5,000 a month, actually specify what you're doing. So I'm going to buy 5 HMOs in the next 4 weeks. Is that achievable? It depends what your resources are. So you're breaking it down to these very directive, smart objectives to go and hit your goals with. So what I'd say to everybody is have a think about what your goals are, what you're trying to achieve, and then break it down into that chunk by chunk, bite by bite way of achieving them. So it keeps you on track, it holds you accountable, especially when you break it down and put it on paper. And that's really important. Just writing something down on paper holds you accountable. Post it on Facebook or Snapchat or Twitter or Instagram. That's going to hold you even more accountable when the whole world's looking at it. But do set yourself that roadmap for success. Very important stuff. So hopefully that's useful. Go out and use it, and maybe we could put some SMART objectives with the kids at home. See how that works out. Okay, good. Useful stuff? Yes. Nodding everywhere. Rossi G is also nodding. Let's put some SMART objectives into the Wellbeing High Street in Ellesmere Port. Okay, awesome. Sally, can we have the final question of the day?
Okay, question from Chris Kirkwood. Going with the current push on social media, how do you choose your content for the different platforms? I'm about to increase my activity on Facebook, Twitter and LinkedIn, but aside from adding value, I'm struggling to differentiate between the 3.
Chris, great question. The root to my heart is talking about social media. In fact, you can see we've got a Snapchat handle on the screen at the moment. Those of you who know me will know we're doing a lot of stuff on Snapchat, giving a lot of value on Snapchat, and that's segueing beautifully into your question, Chris. The important thing with social media is to know how each platform really works and speak to people in the I guess, the native language of that platform. So as you know, Facebook can pretty much do everything. Twitter, you've only got your 140 odd characters, so you can't do long form. So with Twitter, how I tend to use it is really to listen, actually. A lot of people don't use these platforms as listening platforms. So to listen what's being talked about. So there are various mechanisms you can use to find out, let's say we're in property, which makes sense as we're talking to you as Property Education Group. Listen to what people are talking about in property, or landlords or tenants, and then we can add value by jumping into those conversations and adding value. So somebody's already started that conversation. Now with content, I very much use Twitter as a way to push people to other content in other platforms. Now really small things are, let's say for example you're posting images on Twitter. There's no point taking an image and putting it on the same image on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, because they've all got different dimensions. So what you need to do is tailor those images to make sure it's looking native on the platform, and not just to cross-purpose things around everything. So that's Twitter. Now all of these things, and we've got, you talked about LinkedIn as well. I know a lot of people disagree with this. I don't view LinkedIn as a social platform. It's obviously it's more corporate, it's more B2B, although of course at the end of every business is a person, so B2B really is B2C in terms of psychology, but that it's not got quite that same social element of seeing what's going on in your lives, seeing what you're doing outside of your business. So we do less stuff on LinkedIn, although it's great for networking and connecting to people. However, I still think Facebook's the daddy. It really is the daddy. And because Facebook is so big, because it's able to react to things, actually whatever gets brought out, be it Instagram, of course Facebook owns Instagram, be it Periscope, be it Meerkat, be it Snapchat, Facebook fairly quickly brings something in that you can do natively on that platform. So with Facebook, again, the first thing you should be doing, Chris, is listening to conversations, listening to what people are talking about, and then adding value there. So listen is the first thing, then add value, then network before you even try and convert anybody to become a customer or a client, anything like that. So listen, engage, and then network before you do anything else in that order. So that's my answer to that. Good question for everybody watching, actually. How do you use Facebook, Twitter, let's say Instagram? In fact, I'd love to hear if anybody in the property world is having any success on Instagram with property content. Because the thing with Instagram is it's all about glossy images and things that look great. Now, refurb properties, like things being gutted, don't particularly look that exciting on Instagram. So is anybody having any good success on Instagram? Snapchat, how are you getting on with using Snapchat? I'd love to hear. So my question for you, what is your favorite social media platform and why? And on the thread below, put your handles out and I will connect with you and see what's going on. Great. I think that's another powerful show. So we've had some great things, talked about a lot of peripheries around property. How are you finding the personal development slot? I hope that's useful for you. But in the meantime, I will look forward to seeing you on episode 7. Have a great couple of weeks.